What is up, guys? It's Verns back again with another Supercoach video. This time it is the BBL Round 8 review. Now I don't have a camera on today, more or less. I mean, the washing that is on our coat horses that would normally be outside is in the room behind me, and I could go ahead and move all that, but I just thought, you know what, let's just get it out without a camera. It's not a big deal. So we got one more round left. We put out a 661 for round 8, went up 347 places to 2,206. So, you know, not quite going to get towards that 1,000 unless like we go ahead and like win a weekly or something, but didn't think it was too bad of a score originally, and then things fell a little bit apart towards the to the Sunday, unfortunately. So we'll jump into the team and see how it went. So obviously Inglis didn't score well on the Sunday. Ty had a massive game, which was incredible. With Richardson out, I always planned on holding Ty if that happened. Unfortunately, Morris also had a really good game, so bringing Green in did end up losing us like 70 points there as well. Maybe I could have looked at going elsewhere and keeping Ty and Morris. I think that wouldn't have been too bad of an idea. Obviously, that's hindsight. Walter and Bartlett, honestly pretty disappointing scores from them, which kind of sucked. And then obviously Maxwell as captain and the very disappointing Sutherland to round it off. So that's what sort of happened on Sunday. I mean, Bartlett's actually pretty good, honestly. 52 is nothing wrong with that. I felt pretty good originally with the 88 from Short, the 60 from Dorcius, and 62 from Sanger. And then dodging the McDermott and Ellis score. But yeah, Paris also came out with a good score. Connolly with a good score, and it's like, damn. But what I'm thinking we will do here in regards to our trades is, look, I can move Walter and Bartlett, and that leaves a lot of money for me. So I'm just going to move them first of all, just to see how we're looking to start. So when we move those guys, we have a lot of cash to play with. At the end of the day, we're always bringing in Sams. Now, I kind of thought about maybe I want to grab Hardy, but I think what happens here is I do need a bat bowl DPP loop down in the bowl line, meaning I kind of need a bat only up here or a bat bowl on the bat line. And there wasn't really anyone that jumped out to me. Looking at some Thunder players, yeah, I just didn't have anyone that I absolutely, that screamed at me. So sort of looking through them, just not too sure. I'm kind of sick of Sutherland, honestly, after his game, so I kind of want him to be gone. He also doesn't play till later in the round, which hurts as well. I'm pretty sure if we go back to the round, at the end of the day, yeah, he's in the last game. We can't loop him, and with how poor he's been, that's terrible. So I wouldn't mind bringing in an Adelaide player that I can loop. I think that we can loop McDermott because he plays the second game. So that means one of my trade targets need to be from Perth, Sydney, or Melbourne. I think because what that does allow me to do with a Perth, Sydney, Melbourne trade in is then I can always reverse that trade to a player not playing to take a bench score if I really need. So I think that's not a bad way to have myself structured up. That's why Hardy sort of jumped out to me as the best pick there. Everyone sort of does own Hardy, so I'm not really going against the grain or anything there, but I think he's still just the best option when I did take a bit of a look at it. I guess maybe the other thing is I could change up, because I was looking at maybe bringing in Boyce. He's at a pretty good price, and they are playing in Manica. I don't know. I think that could be a spin oval. I mean, I don't know. Every Sydney oval feels like spin oval, so could definitely be one. And Sydney's kind of being weak on the batting front, so I wouldn't mind bringing in Boyce to maybe try and get a good score out of him. I know Big Horse was pretty big on him yesterday, and look, he has performed pretty well. He's pretty cheap too. Getting him in just allows me to do really whatever else I want with my money, which is very nice. And I think one of the strategies I was looking at doing, which might seem weird, but I was considering holding Big Bad Tall Paul, just because I don't really need all the money. At the end of the day, if I wanted to bring in Hardy, I want to bring in Boyce, I want to bring in Sams, like, I actually don't need all the money from Tall Paul and Xavier Bartlett. That just, it's exceedingly it's an excessive amount of money, where I could just trade Sutherland 80k less. I still get those three players instead of holding 100k, but I do get a DPP loop, which is very nice. So it might be a bit crazy to use Walter that way, but I think definitely could be good, and that's why I think also just bringing in a player in these later games is going to be a good idea. At the end of the day, if McDermott flops and I don't sorry, if Boyce flops and I don't need a loop in the bowling line, then I can always just move Walter up. I can maybe look at moving Walter instead for a more expensive batsman. That could be an option. But once again, I'd bring in somebody from one of these later games so that I can still potentially take McDermott's score. But let's take a look at what I was going to do. So I wanted to move on Bartlett. First of all, more expensive and a bowl only. As I said, Sutherland is grinded my last gear. I am done with that, man. And then it sort of just leaves me, where else was I going to go here? I think maybe I was considering Ellis as my third out. I mean, Connolly can be an out here as well. He's been pretty good, but do I really need him? Look, I'll bring in the players that I want. I'll see how much cash I need again. So let's bring in those two. Now, I think if Ellis goes, Boyce slips in really nicely. Where is Boyce? Yeah, that works perfectly. So Ellis goes. Where'd you go, Boise? Boyce comes in. 5k left over. And there we go. And as I said, if I was to move Sutherland in this situation instead, at the end of the day, that just means that I'm holding 80k. So it's not really something I need to do. So that, yeah, I think this looks pretty nice. As I mentioned, we can always have it structured like this. If it doesn't, as I said, if Boyce goes off, perfect. If he doesn't go off, we can always just move Maxi and Walter around and then look at McDermott as a potential option. We can, as I mentioned, move Walter, Hardy around, like easily anything like that. It also means that we get the VC on Sam's. And last week we saw what happened is I didn't actually have a option because I didn't bring in a loop. And since I didn't bring in a loop in the way I structured my team, it meant that taking Sam's Short's 88 just wasn't beneficial, because taking his 88 meant that I got McDermott 17, and getting McDermott 17, that's overall just not as beneficial if I could get a better score out of the captain. In reality, if I was to take McDermott 17 and bring in a loop player for, Cam Green, would have lost 3 points there, made 22 points here, and actually net posited 19 points. But once again, hindsight, I was hoping for a big game out of Green. I didn't bring him in for him to get a 20, unfortunately. But yeah, I think that's how the team's going to look for the final round. Not too bad, in my opinion. I think Ty playing at Optus can probably put out a decent score. Not expecting numbers like this, but hopefully he can. We have Sanger and Green on the double. Sam's on the double. Look, we could maybe look at someone like Hales. As I mentioned, if I want to go for a big bat only, that's definitely an option to go for a Hales. I could look for a Hales over a Boyce if I really wanted. But as I said, maybe I'll look for a Hales in a situation where I see McDermott flop. Maybe McDermott flops, maybe Boyce also flops. I mean, we can look at getting him that way. But look, I'll let the first... Oh, sorry, I can't actually do that straight away. Hales has to be in before the game starts. I guess that's maybe a consideration, bringing in Hales. I mean, Showground players just went off. Renegades also one of the worst teams in the league as well, so maybe it's not going to matter too much. Look, I'm happy with how the team's looking for now, so we'll leave it how it is for now. Best of luck with everyone in your finals. Hopefully they go really well. If we do look at my finals real quick, I actually ended up losing a bunch, which was unfortunate, so the only one that I was actually in the top finals for, which was DR's league, so good luck to the two participating in the finals there. Just going to quickly hit here, DR in the minor finals, but we will have Elliot here versus Matthew, so good luck to either of those for taking it. And then if I did go back to, well, I guess the only other one that really matters to me is I will be versing Spills in his league in the minor finals, so best of luck, Spills. See if we can have an interesting one there. So yeah, anyway, till next time, guys. Peace. Later.